All right. We are live. I'm actually on time for once, 7:30. Scheduled it for then. You love to see it. Danny, of course, is not on time, so he'll be joining as soon as possible. There we go. All right. Comments. Javon was the first one in the chat. What's up, Javon? He was in here like 27 minutes early. Love to see that. Or 17. I can't actually do math right now. Javon, Darrell Williams, good game. I'm glad I started him. Yeah, I think overall, one of my biggest takeaways probably from week 6 was just how well these backup running backs performed. I was a little shocked that Darrell Williams, I guess Devontae Booker wasn't that great, but Khalil Herbert was also very good. Chuba Hubbard had a great game too. A lot of these backup running backs were very chalky in DFS lineups and stuff, and they all did really well. So that was one thing that I was really surprised to see. I had a feeling, for some reason, I had a feeling only like one of them would do well, and then the rest of them would disappoint. But Booker was pretty much the only guy that disappointed outside of the other guys. Even Alex Collins had a good game on Sunday night. So Javon said, do you think Dawson Knox, I'm assuming, will have 15-plus point game tonight? Man, for a tight end like Dawson Knox, that'd be really tough to do because he's not a guy that commands a whole lot of targets. So in order for him to have a 15-plus point game, he's going to need a long touchdown like he had last weekend, or he's going to need 2 touchdowns and like 4 catches for like 45 yards or whatever, because he's not a guy that's going to catch 8 passes for 110 yards like what Mckissick did, for example. He's a guy that thrives more off of big plays. So you're going to need probably a big play for him to get 15-plus points. Brock says, had my Dynasty Superflex 10-team startup draft mid-season and was wondering, should I keep Eckler and compete considering my team's youth? Team is in the next comment. Okay, so I'll get to that in a second. Javon says, Lions and Bengals game. Goddamn, Lions still 0-6. Yeah. You know what's the crazy thing I actually saw on Twitter is that the Lions have not led for a single snap this year. They haven't been winning in a game once this year, which is a little wild to me. I thought the Lions were going to be a bit better than they are. I thought they'd be like a 2-4, 1-5 type of team right now. But eventually they're going to get a win. I don't think they're going to be like an 0-17 team or anything because they do have talent on offense. Just their defense is just so freaking bad. And Jared Goff looked really bad yesterday too. I told y'all last stream I had Chubb and Hunt. What package do you think I could get for them with their injuries? I'm not selling Nick Chubb right now. With Kareem Hunt's injury, like, yeah, Nick Chubb might not play this week, but he'll be back by week 8, I guess it'll be. And he's going to be phenomenal as long as Kareem Hunt's out. So I'm probably not going to trade Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt, on the other hand, I hope, he was on my sell high list like 2 weeks ago. So I hope you guys did sell him then. But if you didn't sell him, I'd be hard pressed to wonder what you can get for the guy, because if you're probably not going to get even a Leonard Fournette, Zach Moss type for a guy like Kareem Hunt at this point, because he's dealing with an injury that's presumably going to knock him out for at least the next 3, 4, 5 weeks or so, from based on what I've seen so far, and it could even last longer than that. So Kareem Hunt, I don't really know what to do with him, to be honest. I think if you're, it's all going to depend on your record. If you are 4-2, 5-1. 6-0, I'd probably just hold them. But if you need wins, I don't hate selling them for like a wide receiver 3 type, like T. Higgins or something like that, if you can get that for Kareem Hunt. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Brock says Mahomes, Eckler, Swift, AJ Brown, Deontay Fant, Judy, Zach Moss, and Lance / Derek Carr at Superflex. So this is his dynasty startup that he did mid-season. So I really like what you did at running back. Eckler and Swift's awesome. Obviously at quarterback, you got Carr and Mahomes to start right now. Lance to start once he gets acclimated, and you probably even start him ASAP as well. AJ Brown, Deontay, good young receivers there. Fant, great young tight end. Judy, Zach Moss. I think he did a great job, to be honest. He says, I could get a 2022 and a 2023 first, most likely a late first, and a wide receiver for Eckler. I mean, your team's pretty good. I think you could win with this team. So that's a pretty good package, I would say, for Austin Eckler. If you can get something like that, I'm okay moving him. And you do have a young team, so you have some flexibility if you wanted to punt it to 2022, for example, and compete then. But I don't know, man. I'd probably hold. I think you can compete this year. And I have ETN on my bench for next year. Yeah. So I mean, if you want to, it really all depends. You said it's a mid-season Superflex startup, so I'm not really sure at what point you're going to know if you're competing or not, but I'd probably just ride it out. If you get out to a slow start, then maybe you make that deal and you punt it for 2022, but I think you can compete this year. Javon says, do you think Derrick Henry will do good with the Bills defense? Man, Derrick Henry might have his first, real down game since week 1 against Arizona. I think this is going to be a tough game for Derrick Henry. I think they're really going to zero in on him. But I mean, it's the big dog. He could still have a tough game in terms of like efficiency. He could go like 25 for like 65 yards or something and still get into the end zone twice or something like that because he's just simply so involved in the offense. Do y'all think that Mckissick is and Waddle are every week starters for tight end and flex? Yeah, I would say that Gesicki's definitely an every week starter at tight end. Waddle, yeah, probably as well. He definitely had a great game this week, and we saw him get more involved downfield, which we like to see, and he was involved in the red zone as well. So, I would say Waddle going forward is going to be an every week wide receiver 3 flex option, and Gesicki's a top 12 tight end. So, yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment for sure. The Dolphins, much like the Bucks and some other teams, when they can't run the ball, they just like abandon the run and just start throwing, which is, great news for us in fantasy when we have their pass catchers, like you guys mentioned as well. So Jared says, can we talk about how terrible the Chargers looked? Are we just putting it on West Coast going East Coast, or the Ravens just getting started? I think the Ravens are legitimately like the best team in the AFC outside of Buffalo, probably. So I don't think it's anything to do with the Chargers. I think they just got outclassed. And I mean, the West Coast, East Coast thing is a real thing. Like, I know Tampa Bay had a really big problem going East Coast to West Coast against the Rams. They looked really bad in that game. So it's a real thing. I would say if that game was in Los Angeles, it probably would have been a lot closer, at least, if not the Chargers winning it outright. Brock says, I don't know what to make of the Ravens. They smacked the Chargers, but almost lost to the Lions and Colts, who didn't have a starting secondary. It feels like Lamar is elite, but is covering for a lot of holes. I think the addition of Bateman into the offense is going to make the offensive passing game more efficient and more consistent, which when your offense is or your team in general, your team success is predicated on your offensive passing game, you're generally usually going to be a real team and be able to pretty much hang with anybody. And of course, we know like they can't run the ball outside of Lamar Jackson right now. So that's a bit of a problem, I would say, but I'm not really worried about the Ravens. They're just kind of playing down to their competition, as he talked about there with the Lions and Colts. In the rest of the roster, okay. Also, tighten up, boys. Yeah, go Titans. There, they smacked them around last year on was it like Tuesday Night Football that they played these guys or whatever? Nah, it's Colts Nation. True. Gross. I'm from Indiana. Okay. What's up, guys? Should I be worried about Hopkins? I'd be a little worried about Hopkins, if I'm being honest. It doesn't look like Hopkins is going to be the same 175 target guy that he was last year, but that doesn't mean Hopkins isn't going to still be a wide receiver 1. I still view him that way. It's just they're spreading the ball out a lot more than they were last year. With Hopkins last year, it was all him. Like Christian Kirk and whoever else that they had there, they'd have like the odd game every 4 or 5 games. This year, it's AJ Green is a real contributor. Christian Kirk is a real contributor. Rondale Moore is a real contributor. And Kyler Murray, of course, is going to run the ball with his own legs as well. So DeAndre Hopkins, not nearly the week over week floor that you want out of a guy that you took probably in the early first or the early second round, maybe even the back of the first round. But this is still a guy I view as a top 10 receiver. He doesn't really change a whole lot. I just think he's going to be a little bit more inconsistent. And we even saw last year, he had like 7 games last year where he busted. He wasn't like a 10-point fantasy scorer, even with the amount of targets that he had last year. So yeah, the targets aren't ideal right now, but I'm not really worried about DeAndre Hopkins at all. I think sometimes we overemphasize how important consistency is, and there's really truly only like 3 or 4 guys every season that are actually consistent every week. And last year, for example, it would have been like Devontae Adams was consistent every week. Stephon Diggs was consistent every week. Darren Waller was consistent every week. Like we had like 3 or 4 guys maybe at each position, or even sometimes 1 or 2 guys at each position that are going to be every week consistent. And then the rest of the guys are going to have their weeks here and there. And Hopkins was like that even last year. So Spicy Hot says Raiders. Yep. Bushman, it's up 25. Is it worth stashing Josh Gordon and keeping Jamal Williams if Swift gets injured / doesn't play a full week due to the injuries he's had in the past full PPR? I would rather have Jamal Williams than Josh Gordon if that's what you're asking. But yes, I do think Jamal Williams is a good stash regardless. As long as you can handle holding him on your roster, you don't need to like start anybody in his place. I think Jamal Williams, I mean, we're seeing it. Like all these running backs are going down. Now, I don't think Swift is going to get injured anytime soon. Like knock on wood. I don't want him to get injured, obviously, but it's because the Lions are really using him to preserve his health, right? Like we get pissed off when we see Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones and DeAndre Swift and even Alvin Kamara used not as full-fledged feature backs, like get this guy the ball on every play. I want him in on 100% of the snaps, but we're seeing it catch up with guys like Christian McCaffrey, and it hasn't caught up with like Derrick Henry yet, but eventually you want to preserve your star running back. And I think that's the way that the Lions are using Swift is going to lend itself towards that. But Jamal Williams, regardless, like Swift has been dealing with a groin injury every game or every, point in this season. So the fact that he could miss a game here and there with that, I think is worthy of stashing Jamal Williams, even at the end of your bench. Also, I can't believe I'm saying this. AJ Brown or Cole Beasley to outscore Buffalo D by 3. Are you asking if you should start AJ Brown or Cole Beasley, or can they both outscore Buffalo D by 3? I think AJ Brown can do that himself. And if you have Cole Beasley as well, then I think you're in great shape there, Josh. I have Knox and Waller looking to trade one of them for Claypool because I have Lockett, Cooper, and Keenan Allen. All my wide receivers are disappointing me. What do you think of that trade? Yeah, if you can trade Knox for Claypool, I would do that, but I would not trade Waller for Claypool. If you guys have Darren Waller, do not trade him. If you don't have Darren Waller, I would go trade for him because, as I talked about on Tuesday, he was in the trade targets video. You do not want to sell Darren Waller right now because his value is at an all-time low, and his routes, his targets, all that stuff will come. He's just having a couple down games right now. I don't expect it to continue. So again, we tend to overvalue consistency just a little bit too much. As soon as we see a guy have like 1 or 2 down weeks, we're like, oh, he's trash, he's done, he's useless. But is there seriously more tight ends other than Travis Kelce? Like maybe you make the argument for Kyle Pitts, George Kittle once he's healthy that you'd rather have over Darren Waller. Like I still think he's a top 3 tight end rest of the season, no matter what. JPV, hey, happy Monday night. Happy Monday night to you as well. I got a trade. I will like to know if Danny's on the way here. He just messaged me. I got a trade. I would like to know if I do the next. I gave Amari and Mike Williams, and I received Tyreek and AJ Brown. Also, if I can get Devontae for Tyreek, do I do it? Okay, so for the first part of your question, yes, I would rather have Tyreek and AJ Brown than Amari Cooper and Mike Williams. And if you can get Devontae straight up for Tyreek, I'm assuming after you make this trade, you would get Devontae for Tyreek. Yes, I would rather have Devontae than Tyreek as well. So if you could somehow net Devontae Adams and AJ Brown out of Amari Cooper and Mike Williams, that's a phenomenal deal. Like that's not even close. I would take your side by a mile.
Yeah, Tyreek's side.
Yeah, he said basically Amari Cooper and Mike Williams for Tyreek and AJ Brown, and then also if once he gets Tyreek, he can trade him for Devontae Adams apparently. So you're netting Devontae Adams and AJ Brown for Amari Cooper and Mike Williams. Like that's not even close.
Yeah, not even remotely close.
Correction about the Lions: they haven't taken an offensive snap with the lead, but they did lead after. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you got a point there, but they still. The crazy thing too is that in neutral situations, the Lions are running the ball at like the second highest or third highest rate in the NFL right now, only behind like Tennessee, I believe, and they haven't led. So we haven't even seen a situation where they're winning a game and DeAndre Swift gets fed like 19, 20 carries or anything like that. We've only seen 13, 14 carries out of Swift because they're getting blown out in the second half of every game.
Side note, I'm in the middle of a fantasy basketball draft right now.
True. Should I start Emmanuel Sanders or AJ Brown? That's. I mean, I can't believe how tough of a question that is, especially considering they did announce that AJ Brown could be on some kind of pitch count, but I'd imagine they're going to limit his snaps when he's run blocking. They're not going to put him out there for that. I already have Diggs and Bills kicker in my starting lineup. My opponent has Dawson Knox, and I'm down 13. So, given the fact that you kind of need floor, I don't mind playing Emmanuel Sanders over AJ Brown, but man, that's tough. What do you think of that?
I don't mind going Sanders there, especially because he's got the Bills there. So at least if they're doing well offensively, you assume that those factors are all doing well. So I don't mind
that's a tough decision to make, though. I think I would still go AJ Brown, but if the pitch count, announcement scares you off, I don't mind going Emmanuel Sanders. So that's a hard call to make. I can't really make that call overall, to be honest.
Agreed. Here's how I'm 1-4, 0-5 teams in this one neighborhood and won't accept any trades to give up their studs. I would try Henderson, AB, and Patterson for Barkley and stuff like that. No one will accept. Yeah, a lot of home leagues are just kind of sit on their ways and don't like making trades, which is kind of making me sick sometimes, but shit happens.
Yep. 25 week 7 is going to be a rough one. I'm forced to start Elijah Mitchell and Michael Carter as my running backs or AJ Dillon. Yeah, there's a lot of bye weeks and obviously some injuries now that we're dealing with. It sounds like Kareem Hunt's going to be out for a while. We know Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for a while. We know Saquon Barkley's probably going to be out this week. We have like 6 teams on bye or something like that. I know the Cowboys are on bye, so there's no Zeke Elliott. I know the Jags are on bye, so there's no James Robinson. There's just not a lot of running backs this week. There's going to be like for Cordell Patterson might be my top 12 this week.
Yeah, like genuinely, it's going to be pretty gross. And they keep losing. Yeah, big football. Traded Lamb and Patterson for Najee Harris. Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, give me Najee Harris there. Emmanuel Sanders or AJ Brown. I won either way, but for insult to injury, if you win either way, I'd like to play AJ. You could bench AJ Brown just to set the tone on him. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got to learn, bro. He's got to learn.
Yeah, I would just play AJ Brown if it doesn't matter. My team is so good all around on that in that league, but I need more studs. But I'm 5-2. Yeah, or 5-1. I hate when you have a team where you're like winning a lot of games, but you're like, this isn't gonna last. I hate when you're in a situation like that. You feel like you need to make moves. What are your thoughts on this, Danny? Because I know you're a Cowboys guy, so you're probably gonna like this trade. But in my home league, me and D Bell were talking about a trade. He needs a running back because he has both Christian McCaffrey and Kareem Hunt. So he had a rough weekend this week. So he's asking me about Javonte Williams, and he's prepared to offer me Kyler Murray and Michael Gallup, who's going to be coming off of IR this week, for Javonte Williams, and I'm giving him Tom Brady as well.
That's pretty fair.
I think it's pretty fair as well. Javonte Williams is a flex starter for me. My only hesitancy is that I have Antonio Gibson as my RB2, and he's dealing with something now. So if I were to trade Javonte and Gibson misses a game or two, then I probably don't really have any kind of replacement for him.
I was about to say, who's your depth at running back?
Like Sony Michel and like guys that are not really startable. Like they're like handcuffs.
That's a close one. I'd want to hear more about Antonio Gibson before I make the plunge.
Yeah, I think that's probably my thoughts on it as well. If Gibson's going to be the same old Gibson, then I'm probably I kind of like want to make that move, because if I make that move, my team is just littered with studs then, because I'd have a stud quarterback and not that Brady isn't a stud quarterback as well, but I'd have Kyler Murray at quarterback. I'd have Swift and Gibson at running back. I'd have Devontae Adams, AJ Brown at wide receiver. I have Kyle Pitts as my tight end. Like I would just have a lot of star power on my team, which I always like to have.
Yeah, no, I agree there.
Man, if I have Hunt, CEH, and CMC I have Hunt, that's brutal. Yeah, that sucks. I need Josh Allen to break a leg or something. LOL. Hey guys, yeah, what's up, Leonardo? That's the worst position to be in. I'm also in the same position, but I'm probably gonna lose, so I've kind of already accepted it. We, me and you in the Listener Dynasty League, we got a little bit of a close matchup, eh?
Bro,
I think I'm want to win. Man. I don't trust Tannehill.
Dude, you know how you would have won the matchup though? If you had Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, no kidding.
All jokes aside, this guy's actually like a fringe RB1 rest of the season.
Yeah, man. I actually saw a report that like Rojo is getting, like the Bucks are getting calls on Rojo prior to the trade deadline, which I mean makes a lot of sense. Like get rid of him. Like what are we going to use him for? He doesn't have a role in this offense.
You could probably net like a 5 for him. Do that instantly.
He's a free agent after this year anyway, so just get your compensatory pick early.
Yeah, amen.
And maybe Rojo will be better on a new team. Maybe he won't be so scared of making mistakes. I don't know. Najee's on bye apparently too, so that sucks.
That's pain. I would rather Dalvin Cook than
I would much rather Dalvin Cook than Aaron Jones.
Save me from starting Devonta over CD. If Julio doesn't score more than 20, I got the dub. Yes, sir. Glad we were able to
I'm glad you didn't start Devontae Smith over CD. That would have sucked.
Trade DJ Moore for Debo. Give me DJ Moore.
I'll take DJ Moore as well. I was thinking of this as well. I've heard a couple people talk about it on Twitter. Do you think, I think now that we're 6 weeks into the season, people realize that every player isn't consistent every week, right? Like you can have bad games. Like it's okay. Like people assume, because Deebo Samuel, DJ Moore, some of these guys that got off to like really hot starts, they're just going to be like that every single game. When you do that every single game, you get Devontae Adams of last year. Like it's a rare thing to be that good every game.
I mean, look at Tyreek Hill. We were talking about him as a buy low like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. And Deandre Hopkins last year, that tweet that I put out, like Deandre Hopkins had 7 games of under 10 fantasy points last year. 7 games out of 16. Like that's a lot. Like, and he was a top 5 receiver in fantasy.
It's just the thing is that I think I was a slave to it at one point too before, but like I think we were way too low, like on the surface of Tyler Lockett. Again, like the situation now, it's looked good, but like going into the year, it's like, fuck, man, this guy was still a top 15 wide receiver last year. I get it. The boom bust nature will persuade people away from like taking that player. But at the same time, you have to chalk that up to variance. You don't have to expect that
And
every
obviously,
single fucking
had
week.
Russell Wilson not gotten hurt too, this
He
probably
was gonna
like we
smash
were
it.
off of
Yeah.
Lockett, which is looking good because of Russell Wilson's injury.
Yeah.
And actually, when Russ went down, I tweeted out like all my my bad process of not drafting any Seahawks on underdog is getting bailed out by this Russ injury because I never got Seahawks stacks ever. They were just always going too early for me.
Yep. No, I agree there. I agree. So I traded Knox and Darrell. Oh my god,
that's a fucking absolutely absurd move.
Yeah, you fleeced. Yeah, I agree there with Gibson.
I mean, he's not like that's kind of what I'm talking about, though. He's not killing you this year. He's had like two bad games.
He is in terms of what I personally expect from him. Now, like in terms of ADP, no, he's not killing you. He's taking about where he.
I have Swift on my team because Swift is my RB1, so he's like Gibson's my RB2, so it's fine.
That's the thing. It's like I had like Swift level expectations for Gibson, and he just hasn't lived up to it. He's basically what every Mixon truther sees.
He's exactly. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Gibson's exactly the way he was last year.
Yeah,
he's basically the same running back he was last year. And again, he was the RB4 prior to his turf toe injury, and he was inconsistent as hell. And he didn't even get a full workload until like week 5 last year. So.
Yeah. How many points do you think Knox can get tonight? I'm up by 20 with Knox, and opponent has Allen and Sanders. That'll be close. So we should expect probably 20 to 25 from Allen. So really, you're expecting. I think you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sorry to
hear. Allen and Sanders. That's a tough combo. I'm going up against that too, but I thankfully already lost, so I have no hope.
Yep. That's what I was thinking. Thanks, guys. Can't wait for Dynasty decisions in the offseason. They're my favorite. Yes, sir, bro. Can't wait to relaunch that series because you guys absolutely
we're going to be doing one during the season. So
there you go.
Stay tuned for that. Just let us know, actually, real quick, while you guys are in here. What did you guys think of the Friday episode where me and Danny did kind of more of like a longer form rest of season rankings? Because we were thinking of doing one next week that's like a risers and fallers for Dynasty from the first 6 weeks of the season or 7 weeks of the season, and talk about some buy lows and sell highs in Dynasty and stuff. So if you guys do enjoy, like I know most of the week we're doing solo videos, right? So you don't get to see us both on unless we're on a live stream. What?
I said mostly Bush, and honestly, fucking this week is no exception for me. Literally, I was telling Bush in the DMs, I have fucking 3 assignments and 2 exams this week.
Yeah, I hold down the fort because I'm no longer in school. So
lucky guy.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know what you guys want to see on Fridays, because I kind of like doing like a dual show on Friday where we just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, and Dynasty decisions will probably be in the coming weeks, I'd imagine. Yep. Bush the found of fantasy knowledge. Yeah, I appreciate that. It helps that it's literally if you guys don't know this already, this is my full-time job. Like this is what I do all the time. So
yeah. A little bit more than I do now because school's kicking my ass, and I'm gonna have to evaluate after this semester, after next semester, what's going on, because this is I'm supposed to have 5 years in this program. I'm finishing up my 3rd, and if the channel's doing well enough, like there's really no point.
Exactly. Javonte's ceiling once Melvin comes off the books, RB1. I mean,
right back end.
Yeah, back end RB1. My problem is and you guys, I mean, you probably already heard me talk about potentially trading Javonte Williams away. Is I don't know if Melvin Gordon's going away, and it's not because Melvin Gordon is like some superstar world beater. He's still a good running back. He's still a serviceable top 30 NFL running back, and unless Javonte needs to be phenomenal to actually beat him out, basically. And Javonte has been good, but he's not been phenomenal. He's still making some rookie mistakes here and there, and without a Melvin injury, without a Melvin Gordon trade at the deadline or something like that, it sounds like Danny's on the clock based on the sound that I just heard.
You heard that?
It's gonna be hard for Javonte Williams to just become an RB1 outright, because Gordon is going to be involved as long as he's on the field.
I can't believe you heard that.
Yeah.
How do you hear that? I don't know. Probably through my earphones, right?
Like a little Yahoo sound, I think is what it was. DJ Moore for Deebo Samuel. Yeah, I'd prefer DJ Moore, as we said. Dripping of statistics. LOL.
He loves it.
Do I win? 24 points needed.
I hope so for your sake.
Diggs and Tyler Bass. Yeah, I have a couple showdown lineups going tonight, and I have Diggs in my MVP slot in one of them. So I'm hoping we get a big Diggs thing. I've been trying to wish this into existence, but you know what? I haven't done it on camera yet. So isn't it going to be awesome when I win the Millie Maker? Because I just keep saying that to people all the time. Like, how awesome is that going to be when I win the Millie Maker? So I'm just going to speak it into existence at this point.
I was quickly going to say too, I need 37 combined from Julio and Diggs tonight in half PPR. Wish me luck.
Yeah.
Dude, I have not gotten a single Diggs blow up game. This is the week. 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is the week.
Yep. Mitch says, is it time to trade DJ Moore? No. I would say, like, okay, so if you're going to trade DJ Moore and you want to trade DJ Moore, don't trade him now because he's had 2 bad games. Well, I guess not bad games in a row, but like 2 down games relative to what he was doing earlier in the season. So if you're going to trade DJ Moore and you want to get rid of him because, you know, you don't trust Sam Darnold or whatever, I would wait until he has a big game, which will probably be like next week. So, like I said, people overvalue consistency. Not every wide receiver is going to be consistent. Not every running back is going to be consistent. And that's usually why people chase legendary upside running backs is because they're elite every game.
Yeah. Bateman looked really good. And
I didn't actually watch any of that game. I'm going to have to go back and watch what Bateman did.
Lamar just was struggling too.
Yeah. I mean, every time I was just watching Red Zone, I didn't have that game pulled up separately. And because I saw Ravens just kind of destroying them. So I was like, okay, like I'll just watch different games. But, yeah. Plus, I had a lot of DFS ownership in other games.
I believe Bateman had like a 24% target share too.
Yeah, he did.
Big one. So,
and he basically he slotted right into Sammy Watkins' role. It didn't really affect Marquise Brown. Didn't really affect Mark Andrews, which is basically what you want to see out of him.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Marquise Brown, nice hands on that drop touchdown. That's really cool.
Yeah, he's like leaving a lot of fantasy points out on the field.
Waiting for my league mates to hate drop a few bigger wings. Yeah, I mean, good luck.
Yeah, with all the bye weeks, people are going to be dropping some big names.
Favorite prop for Monday Night Football? Let me actually check some of the props available right now. But because
I actually have some on Underdog that I already did, so I can.
Devontae Booker fucking cost like by 4 yards. I would have won $100 on Prize Picks.
Yeah, I'll show you guys right now what I got.
So tonight.
All right, so I have. This is just like a nice. Okay, it's just gonna do that on me.
Zach Moss over 44.5 rushing yards is pretty tasty.
I took the under on 47.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's gonna finish with 46 on the dot.
Yeah. So okay, here's the 5 picks for $400 that I'm doing. $20 bet. Ryan Tannehill over 0.5 interceptions, so he throws a pick.
Yeah.
Zach Moss under 47.5 rushing yards. Josh Allen over 25.5 completions. Derrick Henry under 99.5 rushing yards. And Emmanuel Sanders over 59.5 rushing yards or receiving yards. So that's my parlay there. 5 picks for $100.
I was just about to say too, Sanders over 54.5 is pretty nice too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Diggs at 82.5, which is pretty interesting too. I think he hits that.
That's pretty high. I would probably stay away from that.
I would stay away from it too, but yeah, like I don't mind that if you're gonna make that bet.
Traded Hopkins for Saquon last year in Dynasty, and I got clowned. I don't know who would be clowning you for that.
Yeah, what the heck?
Give me like as much as Hopkins is a great receiver. He's still 29 years old, and Saquon is Saquon. So I need 22 points from AJ Brown to win. It could happen. I mean, if you're in a full PPR league, that'll definitely help you out. But that's his like ceiling projection, right? So you're gonna need a big game out of him. But good luck to you. You trusting AJ Brown with the hamstring illness? The hamstring's fine. He's questionable with the illness. Is why he's questionable. It has nothing to do with the hamstring, from what I've seen. Do you pivot to Cole Beasley, Josh Reynolds, Westbrook-Ikhine, Charles Rogers? If you're talking about a DFS lineup, I probably wouldn't play AJ Brown in a showdown lineup if you're concerned. I did pivot away from him in one of my lineups. Initially, I had AJ Brown and somebody else in, and I switched to Julio Jones, and I got up to Chester Rogers with my other pick. So that's basically how I like pivoted away from it. But I'm still trusting AJ Brown to be just fine. He's probably not going to, he ran 65% of the snaps last week, but he ran 90% of the routes. Like I'd imagine he's probably going to be doing something similar tonight in this game.
Yep. No, I agree there. If you had to choose, which one would you choose, Brady and Evans or Mahomes and Hill?
Mahomes and Hill. Yeah, Mahomes and Hill. As
close.
As the Bucks fan, I'll still tell you it's Mahomes and Hill.
told me to play Gibson over Mixon. And, well, it didn't go too good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit happens, man.
I mean,
That's
Gibson getting
unfortunate.
injured definitely doesn't help.
Yeah. Would you trade AJ Brown, Cordell, Darrell Williams for AB and Woods? I would not.
Yeah. And on Gibson, too, it was part of his range of outcomes that the Washington football team would get steamrolled by the Chiefs and they would phase him out in favor of McKissick. And I knew that was a possibility, which is why I didn't play Gibson anywhere in DFS. And in fact, I actually played McKissick in one lineup.
Should I trade Fant and Mooney for Goddard in a 3rd round pick? No, I would rather Fant and Mooney.
Yeah, I would rather Fant and Mooney as well.
All right, so we left off on Javon here. We actually got a super chat here from Charlie. I appreciate that a lot. He says, do we play Tannehill? I've already won, so if I pull him out, it's 100% win. But the guy ahead of me in fantasy, I would still play him. I mean, unless you're up like fucking, I don't know. Like,
if you're up like 1 point, then I probably wouldn't play him. But if you're up by more than 5, I think you're fine.
Yeah, no, I fully agree there.
Or if your league scoring is like -3 for interceptions or like very egregious like interception and fumble penalties. But I mean, Daniel Jones had like the worst game you'll ever see from a fantasy quarterback, and he still scored like -2 or -3.
Yep, for sure. And again, as always, appreciate that 499 super chat from Charlie. So we left off here.
I got it. Javon said, what are your thoughts on Emmanuel Sanders? This week in general, I think he's an every week wide receiver 3. I think this is a guy that you can put into your lineup every single week. And I think this game specifically, he's probably going to have a good game.
Wait, did you know in prize picks, you can bet on fantasy point output?
Yep.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. All right. I need 24 points to win PPR, AJ Brown or Sanders. If you need like a ceiling,
I'd take Sanders, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, if Brown's on a pitch count, especially in PPR, especially because we expect the Bills.
It's hard to expect a huge ceiling out of a guy that's on a pitch count. That's just like my only thing. Like, because if he is on some kind of pitch count, it's like he would need 2 touchdowns to get to 24 points. Whereas Sanders could catch in a full PPR league, he could catch 8 passes for 110 yards and a touchdown.
Agreed there. Rest of the season looking for upside. If you're looking for upside, it's Javonte.
I still would take Jacobs.
Really?
Yeah, man. You're so disrespectful to Josh Jacobs. It's absurd.
Why?
Like, well, I don't know. What don't you like about him?
Unless he falls into the end zone, what's he doing for you?
I mean, he's been involved, man.
He's inefficient as heck. The team sucks. Like, I don't know. He's probably a back.
What's the difference between him and okay, I guess there's a pretty big difference between him and Darrell Henderson.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, what's the difference between him and Darrell Henderson? Because Darrell Henderson plays for a very good team. Obviously, that's the big difference. But yeah. I don't know, man. Jacobs is a better player. So, like, he's going to create on his own. He's got a monopoly on the goal line. They run the ball in the red zone quite a bit. Like, he's a guy that I view very similar to what Chris Carson was when he was healthy.
I didn't like Chris Carson.
I'm sure you didn't, but I like Javonte Williams to me. It like whenever he does take over the backfield, it's probably going to be because something.
I mean, NFL trade deadline
to have a blow up game where he's just like so much better than Melvin Gordon, or Melvin Gordon gets hurt, or Melvin Gordon gets injured. Like it's a way rougher path to the volume that you get out of Jacobs with Javonte Williams. And if I could argue this too, there's a world where even if Javonte gets the RB1 role, he's only as good as Josh Jacobs because the team isn't good in Denver either.
He's a better player, in my opinion.
He's a better player, sure, but like he was my comp for Javonte Williams coming out of college.
I don't know, man. I don't
know. They're pretty similar players, in my opinion. I think
it's a more similar situation to what we saw from Chubb, man.
I don't think Javonte is quite as good as Chubb.
I don't think many people are quite as good as Chubb, but I think he's like.
Can we also talk about the fact that Chubb might actually like achieve the ceiling now with Kareem Hunt out of the lineup?
Oh, definitely. Like he could actually like be like top.
He could be as good as Derrick Henry, like legitimately. Like he could be that good.
Yep. No, I agree there. Where's Danny? I'm here now. But side note, for those of you who are wondering why I'm late, I was at the gym, took a shower, hopped on, and got a little late. But side note, got my personal record, 345 bench, so hit my max today.
Yeah.
Bateman or Waddle rest of the season.
Waddle. Yeah. As much as I was encouraged by what I saw to Bateman, like Jalen Waddle's had like multiple double-digit target games so far.
Danny. JT and Henderson finally taking off. Glad I stuck with them. Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is JT's doing it without that full workload right now. I mean,
which before you came on here, I talked about like, guess who's staying healthy right now? The committee running backs: Swift, Jones, JT, Kamara, these guys are staying healthy. The McCaffreys, the Carsons, the guys that get everything, they're getting hurt. I guess Kareem Hunt's a committee running back, so he doesn't really apply to that. But he got it was the one game that he was playing full-time running back that he got hurt. So
there you go.
Maybe these coaches know a thing or two when they're using them in committees.
Do I trade Keenan for Diggs? I would rather have Diggs, so yes.
Yeah.
Here, you can click this one.
Yeah. Brock, Eckler being on bye is going to kill me this coming week. Dude, I play a guy that has Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, and who's the other player?
Is it me?
Aaron Jones.
I know I'm messing around. Is it me?
No, but he has, literally because of that team. But no, he literally has like all of his guys on bye. The only guy I have on bye is Marvin Jones, so I'm chilling. But I might have Gibson out for the game, so might even things up.
Yeah. What happened with Ed Orgeron? Is there any?
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't really follow college football that closely.
Oh my God, yeah, you lucked out there, Ron. My running backs are in brutal situation. Gibson's down and Chubb. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
That's brutal. Need Derrick Henry and Tyler Bass. I have less than 24. Do I have a chance? That'll be close. Derrick Henry might get that on his own, but like I do agree.
I would say you're in a good position to like of all the games that Derrick Henry might have a dud. Like this is a good position to be betting on it because the Bills' run defense has been no joke, and we've seen when teams can key in on Derrick Henry, like he is stoppable. Like the Cardinals were able to limit him in week 1, so he's not a complete like freak show. Well, he is a complete freak show, but he's not a complete freak show as in that he's going to be completely matchup proof. Like the teams can key in on them if they try to.
Need 25 from Bills defense. Yeah, like
you would need. You'd probably need Tannehill to get hurt for that to happen, and then whoever his backup is to come in and do the opposite of the Lord's work.
Also, thoughts on Claypool rest of the season? Yeah, I still think he's going to be good. Bad game, but like he's still, in my opinion, Deontay Johnson's the wide receiver 1 there, but Claypool's a firm top 25-ish wide receiver for me this year.
Yeah, some of these second-year wide receivers, one of them is going to have to like do what we thought they were going to do because they're all kind of disappointing right now because. I mean, Judy's coming back, so we need Judy. Well, I mean, Lamb's being. We knew Lamb and Jefferson were going to be great, but
can we talk about the fact that as good as Lamb and Jefferson are, which I mean they are phenomenal right now, like, and they've been 2 of the most efficient receivers in the NFL. Lamb is about 10 yards per target. Jefferson's just under that, dude. Jamar Chase has almost 550 receiving yards, or he might have actually over 550 receiving yards on 41 targets.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You know who also has a stat quite like that too? Henry Ruggs.
Oh.
Henry Ruggs has 32 targets and 445 receiving yards. He's currently averaging, what is that? 12.3 yards per reception right now.
Per target?
Per reception, sorry. So he has 20 receptions and 445 receiving yards.
Oh, 20. You said 12.3.
Oh, sorry, 22. Sorry, 22.3.
Yeah,
sorry, 22.3. 22.3. Sorry, that's what I meant.
But
yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure Ruggs might be the 3rd highest scoring second-year wide receiver right now. Legitimately, I mean, Claypool probably is ahead of him right now, but
like 3rd, you said
3rd, yeah, behind Jefferson and Lamb.
Yeah,
I think Claypool had a big game last week. He might be ahead of him, but it's probably pretty close.
Yeah,
like because Higgins hasn't been great thus far. He's been kind of inconsistent target-wise, but hopefully when Judy is potentially going to play on Thursday, they said there's like a 50-50 chance he plays. And I loved Jerry Judy coming into the season, so I hope he gets back on track.
I think he's going to come back and be a baller. Would you trade Barkley, McLaurin, and Pitts for Kamara and Brown?
No, I'd rather have Barkley, McLaurin, and Pitts.
Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up if that's what Sodat's referring to.
Amen. So I trade Dak and someone else for someone better. I mean, what's your definition of better?
That's a very ambiguous question.
Like, are you talking like Kyler Murray? Are you talking like that? Like, and even if someone else, like I wouldn't.
Could even be different position. You might not even be talking about quarterbacks.
Yeah, and realistically here, to move up from Dak to Kyler in terms of fantasy, like it's not like I would offer more than like a wide receiver 3 flex type.
Would you give Dak and Jalen Waddle for Kyler Murray?
If Jalen Waddle's my wide receiver 4, maybe?
Yeah, I'd probably do that. I think Kyler Murray's enough of a thing that I would probably give up a guy like Jalen Waddle for him. But I wouldn't give up more than that. I wouldn't give up much more than that. Would you give up Emmanuel Sanders and Dak?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably give up that too.
Are you probably talking about like let's say Kyler gives you 25, 26 points per game. Dak probably gives you about 21, 22. So at that point, like, yeah, it's a nice little upgrade, but at the same time, like, you're still talking about a locked and loaded top 7-ish quarterback rest of the season. And heck, we saw the volume adjust itself. If Dak's volume is able to just, it doesn't have to be 51 attempts per game, but if it's just not at 30, at 32, even if it's closer to 40, like, I think he can still re-enter that first year. I know we didn't have him in the first year in that video, but we could see a Josh Allen type of season from Dak if the passing adjusts. And
speaking of Dak and the passing adjusting, go get Michael Gallup right now because he is probably free. He might even be on your waiver wire right now. I'd like to know what his ownership percentage is, but like the guy literally was good in his first game. He looked great, and he's coming back, and he's going to be like a Marvin Jones, Emmanuel Sanders type. Like he's right in that kind of range in terms of how I view him rest of the season.
Yeah, like we saw Ced Wilson, Noah Brown make plays. I mean, frick, like nobody even talked about the fact that Zeke literally had more or the same amount of receptions in this game that he did all season going into this game. He had 7 receptions against the Patriots. He had 7 receptions in the 5 games prior.
I wish he would have gotten into the end zone, man. I played him in a lot of DFS lineups, and he was like really low owned because where Zeke was, he was like hiding in plain sight because he was like right below in terms of price, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, like the big name guys. And then right below him was all the chalk, like all the Jonathan Taylor, like DeAndre Swift, Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson was like right below him. So he was kind of like right in between those guys, and he had like no ownership, and he would have smashed if he just like scored a touchdown.
Yeah, no, fully. I love the long form content. Perfect. Yeah, we'll introduce it now. We'll have to talk about when this weekend's video is coming out because I had the exam on Saturday. But
yeah, well, I kind of like doing it on Fridays if that's cool with you.
Yeah, or like we record on Thursday. Okay, yeah, we can
record it. We can record it anytime too. We don't have to record it on Thursdays or whatever. We can record it on Wednesdays and put it out Friday.
Because I got the one exam on the Wednesday, so right after that exam, either on like later on the Wednesday or the Thursday, we can record. I don't know. We'll talk about this off fucking camera.
Yeah. Brock says he liked it. Brock. For sure. Skip Bayless in the chat.
Diggs don't go off. I'm a slap him.
Yeah.
Raphael, what do you guys think of AJB over 4.5 receptions, 52?
I would take the under there.
Yeah, same.
I'd probably just avoid that bet altogether, to be honest.
I like the Diggs ones. I think Diggs is the get right game for Diggs.
52.5 yards I like for AJ Brown, but the receptions is a little sketchy.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Diggs 7.5 receptions.
I take the under on that. 7.5 is a lot of receptions.
It's a lot, but
getting 8 receptions to hit that's a lot.
It's definitely a lot, but I think this is the Diggs breakout game. Now I'm not going to bet it.
I mean, it definitely could be, but the Diggs breakout game could still mean 6 for 135 and a touchdown.
2 touchdowns.
Sure.
And by the side note, I'm not actually betting.
I like Diggs touchdown. I like that bet a lot better than the 7.5 receptions. Josh Allen, 33 rushing yards. That's pretty high. I'd probably that's a good line though. I'd probably take I might just avoid that. Like that's a good line.
Yeah. Either way, no, I was gonna say the only reason that, like I wouldn't actually bet it, but I do need Diggs to pop the fuck off today.
Yeah.
Week 7 buys plus injuries are going to kill me this week. Great work, boys. Keep up great work. Chat members, smash that like button and subscribe. Yeah, listen to Kill Game. I mean, heck,
I don't know if there's a person that comments on more videos.
I know. I was just about
I don't think there's a video that this dude hasn't commented on in the last like 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, the consistency. I absolutely love it. Hit the like button. Yeah, everybody hit the like button. Let me see what we're currently at right now. There's currently 72 concurrent viewers in the stream. I think concurrent's my most used word in streams. There's only 25 likes. Come on, guys.
So weak, fellas. Come on.
Basically, a third of you in here are liking it. Let's see the other 2/3 pick up the slack there. So.
Another thing that I wanted to ask you guys, because I'm is there something you'd want to see me do on Mondays? Like a video, like a short video, 10 to 15 minutes. Is there something you'd want me to do on Mondays solo? Because I don't really like that we have like all day Monday where there's no video posted until we go live. So if you guys want to see me do something on Mondays or whatever, let me know in the comments. And if you can, try and make it something that no other channel does, because I know some people do like biggest takeaways from the week or whatever, but I don't want to just kind of regurgitate at what every other channel does. So if you guys have a unique idea that you would like to see on Mondays, let me know.
Yep.
You can either DM me or leave it in the comments or whatever.
Diggs home for 30. Let's hope so. THC.
Yeah.
I rate that. I love the buy high and low advice. That's how I turned Montgomery into Jonathan Taylor after 2 bad weeks. Gotta love it. Yeah, that's phenomenal.
I'm pretty sure the best part of myself as a fantasy player, the thing I'm best at is making trades. Like I'm pretty sure that's how I won last year. Like that trophy behind me, it's the reason I won. because I traded the big trades that I made were coming off of Aaron Jones's 45-point game against the Lions. I sold him high for Joe Mixon and AJ Brown. Then Joe Mixon the very next week had a 45-point game against the Jaguars. And 2 weeks after that 45-point game, he also had 2 more solid games after that. I sold him, Antonio Gibson, and Robert Woods for Brandon Ayuk and Alvin Kamara. And Alvin Kamara scored 6 touchdowns and won me the championship. So
yeah, that's nuts. I wouldn't trade Najee unless you're getting a top 5 stud. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Najee is on that fringe. We talked about it in the rest of the season, but I believe Najee was our 8 consensus.
Yeah, Najee was my 7 consensus coming into the season.
Yeah.
So nothing's really changed for me on Najee Harris, and he's starting to he's a rookie running back. He's getting better as a player, which is encouraging, obviously.
Side note, I know you mentioned it. If you're selling a rookie running back in Dynasty, you need to get a haul, in my opinion. Yeah, the thing is if you were to sell Najee Harris, you could probably get a haul. Like
that might even be a redraft question that he was asking, but it is a good point to bring up in Dynasty as well.
Especially if the running back's already a stud. Yes, sir. Also, every quarterback in the NFL is Baker Mayfield. He is awful. Yuck.
I don't really think he's overrated because I don't think anybody's super high on Baker Mayfield. I just don't think he's terrible. I think he's a top 20 quarterback in the NFL.
Yep. Where are we?
I got it.
I'm up 35 and still have Dawson Knox. Funes Allen and Diggs, W or L.
Oof. If you get a Dawson Knox touchdown, it's a W.
Yeah, it'll be close. Fournette or Hubbard while CMC is out. I'm going Fournette.
Fournette never leaves my lineup, honestly. I don't. That's a good problem to have, though, because I think both of those guys are every week starters.
I'm basically still valuing JT as if Mac isn't really there, and I'm still taking Eckler over him, to be honest.
There's no way I would take JT over Eckler, regardless if Mac gets traded or not.
Yeah. 28 points. I have Moss and Brown. Will I win? It is going to be close, but I think you're going to lose here, Javon.
Yeah. It's possible that you win. Having a guy on both sides of the ball definitely helps.
You probably need a touchdown from both of them.
Because if you get a 35-28 game, scoring wise out of this game, then you probably win that, I'd imagine, because your guys should be a big part of that. But if you get unlucky with Zach Moss is probably the key to that. If he has a rushing touchdown and some catches, then
that's what I mean. Yeah, I think both of them need a touchdown.
I need Zach Moss to help me beat Danny in the Listener Dynasty League, and a league that I need to win because I'm without Barkley. And obviously, I'm without Dobbins, too, because he tore his freaking ACL. But I'm without Barkley right now, too. So I'm starting Zach Moss and Damian Harris as my running backs. Of course, I have great wide receivers, and I have Mark Andrews, and I have who are my quarterbacks in that league? Tannehill and Darnold, I think, are my quarterbacks. So I'm in pretty good shape as my roster overall. But I'm 3-2 right now, and I would like to win this week so that I can be 4-2 and waiting for Barkley to come back and ready to make a run. But if Danny beats me, who's literally tanking right now, I'll be a little bit pissed because
I'll be pissed too.
His team literally snaps and his team is tanking, which is weird.
Yeah, bro, you just got to trade for Fournette from me, man.
Yeah.
Side note, it's not going to happen, but in order to beat Arnie in the fucking Listener redraft league, it's not going to happen. Keep that in mind. I need Zach Moss and Stephon Diggs to outscore Derrick Henry by 38.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Let's get through
I beat Big Al this week. It was a pretty high scoring game, actually. Even with Herbert dropping 12 points, I still beat him because freaking Hopkins had 20, Robinson had 20, Dalvin Cook had 21, CeeDee Lamb had 36, AJ Brown had 24. I had to start Bryan Edwards and James Washington in my flexes because Jarvis Landry's out and Damian Williams got COVID or whatever. Michael Carter was on bye. Jerry Jeudy I have on IR as well. I had so many flex injuries that hopefully are going to be better by this week.
Bro, by the way, did you not set our lineup in the one league that we share a dynasty team?
Did you not set it either?
We have Ayuk and Damian Williams in it.
Well, we built a young rebuilding team anyway, so that's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not bad, yeah. It's pain. Up by 4. Oh, yeah, I agreed. Up by 4, regular penalty, point loss. Yeah, I would still start him. Brown or Knox? Hopefully we got to Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown. Yep.
Hit the like button. Yes, sir. Thoughts on AJ Brown rest of the season? Yeah, he's a fringe wide receiver, like mid wide receiver too, probably.
Yeah, he's a guy that I view, inside the top 20 or so wide receivers at minimum, probably top 15 if I'm being honest too.
Spicy Yacht didn't like that.
The team sucks. Oh yeah, because we said the Raiders suck.
Yeah.
Man, Your team does suck, though. Like, why don't they throw the ball to Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards more? Like, every time they get the ball, they're like so much better than freaking Renfro and Alec Ingold. Like, why does Alec Ingold get more targets than than Henry Ruggs? Like, I swear to God, he has more targets this year.
Yep. Danny, you're right. Trust CD. Claypool was a bust.
Did I say Claypool?
You said Claypool.
I might have said Claypool. Actually, I think I had Lamb rated higher than
Claypool. You said Claypool because
I'm looking at my rankings right now. I don't know if I said that.
I said Lamb, and you're like, oh no, tough matchup. Blah blah blah. I'd go Claypool.
I think I still said Lamb because I have him I definitely have him ranked higher.
You didn't, because I remember when we went through the question, it was like it was a debate.
I'm looking at my weekly rankings from last week just to be.
Nikki can confirm in the chat. Yes, sir. You're right. Does Michael Thomas have any fancy trade value? He's probably worth more from the owner that drafted him.
I had him ranked higher. I had Lamb at 16 and Claypool at 19.
I don't know why you said Claypool in the live stream, though.
No, I said it was I probably just said it was like close or something like that. They're like, it's back and forth type of thing, but I did have Lamb rated higher. So
okay, fair. Side note: 33 likes, 80 viewers. That's weak sauce.
Yeah.
Come on, last minute, please.
Yeah, we did get to it already, but it was at 8:19, so technically we did get to it on time.
Do I trade CD and Gibson for Najee rest of the season? No, sirree.
No.
Don't do that. I need 16 points from Dawson Knox to win. Am I a winner? That'll be very
hard to get there with a guy like Knox because he's a big play tight end. So you probably need 2 touchdowns from him to get there, or a long touchdown. One.
Someone in the chat, AJ or Sanders tonight, PPR. Okay, hopefully check out to it. 2 and 3 soon to be 2 and 4. RBs are CMC. Do I trade away CMC? I trade away Gibson. Hurts for CMC when it was meant to be a 3-week absence. PPR super flex.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's unlucky.
I mean, it's not like he gave up a crazy amount though.
Yeah, I would need to know the value there.
Yeah, man, that's a tough situation to be in. I would float out offers for CMC, see what people are willing to give you, and if you feel like it's worth it, then I don't mind moving him at a 2 and 4 record. But yeah,
so I just saw what Spicy Hot said at the bottom of the screen.
Why did we have a bet on it?
Yeah, I guess. What are our bets? I forget what we made. Spicy Hot, send them to me after.
Yeah,
I saw. I actually did see that Edo is gone. Playing Sanders over him tonight. Trade Chubb for Gibson Dynasty, all things considered. It's probably like very close. What is JD McKissick's contract?
I'm still taking Gibson. He's 20.
I am too. Old. Again, I'm taking Gibson, but I'm actually like wondering right now, like what.
I mean, if it's not JD McKissick, it'll probably be another type of scat back. It's all kind of going to depend if they ever give Gibson that kind of workload, which is possible, I suppose, if he continues to get better in that regard. And I feel like the injury doesn't help that he's dealing with, and it sounds like he's been dealing with it all year and all in the offseason.
McKissick's a 29-year-old UFA after the year.
Okay, so maybe there's a chance that they don't bring him back, and we hear the Gibson's going to get the CMC treatment next offseason. Maybe we're a year early on it.
Potential. It's tonight the night for AJ Brown. What are your thoughts on him rest of the season? I believe we answered it, but yeah, fringe top 15-ish. Should I do DK for CMC? I'm 5-1.
Yeah, yeah, you should.
Yeah,
I would.
Do you guys think Knox and Henry can get 30 points tonight? Need this to win? Yeah, absolutely. I think that could be in the range of possibility here. Swift and Thielen for Eckler. My other receivers are Cooks, Ridley, Debo, Tony. I also have CMC and Chuba. I don't mind making that move up for Eckler.
Yeah, I think that's a fine move.
So I'm in PPR, is there? NSA, Sanders, in my opinion. Oh, they're talking to each other. Should I trade Chubb or Hunt? I need to know for what.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to trade Hunt right now.
Yeah, NFL highlights in the chat. No self promo. Let's go. That's not happening here. Sanders is safer and savvy. Should I trade? Put Claypool, AJ Brown, Antonio Brown next week. I mean, I like start set questions for next week. Like I legit don't look at the slate until Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm probably not going to give you the best advice until Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, sorry. I'm just dealing with this guy in the comments.
No worries. I got it. What are some good trade options for Woods? So are you trying to sell Woods, I'm guessing? If you're trying to sell Robert Woods, he's had 2 straight games where he's been pretty good so far. So if AJ Brown doesn't have a great game this week, I'd probably try and sell him or try and go buy him for Robert Woods. Maybe you could pull something like that off. Or you could go after maybe Julio Jones is limited coming back from the hamstring injury or something. Maybe go after someone like that. I'd say anybody in that fringe wide receiver 2 range is probably a guy that I'd be going to look after. Any of the Bucs receivers, Evans and Godwin, I think is also 2 good guys that you could go after for Woods as well. I'd rather have both of them than Woods long term.
Yep, no, I agree there. Also, I guess Ferks already has 11 yards. Fuck, I bet the under on him.
There's a game on already.
Yeah, let's get through these last few. See, I love you. I appreciate that, Javon. See, I love you. Trade away Hendo, AB for CMC mixing thoughts. Yeah, I do that.
With the Hunt injury, I think that's a good move.
Heartbeat.
Sure.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. I mean, heck,
if Hunt was healthy, I would still.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Because like Mixon and AB, or sorry, Mixon for Hendo and AB, I think is a fair trade.
I was just about to say, with Hunt hurt, I would probably rather Mixon to Hendo, Hunt, and AB.
Yeah,
I think Kareem Hunt might be out for the year. Like, there's doctors saying that they think it's the Achilles, because when you hurt your Achilles, basically the nearest muscle group that's near your Achilles is going to be your calf. So if you hurt your Achilles, that pain is going to get directed to your calf.
I think we would have heard that he tore his Achilles if he tore his
Achilles. The MRI, nothing has ever actually come out on it, but I've heard doctors.
Right, but usually they say something like the Browns fear that Kareem Hunt tore his Achilles. Because there's a test you can do to see if you tore your Achilles.
Yeah.
What is it like? They test like your reflex behind your knee, or they push down on something or something like that. So to see if you tore your Achilles. So I'm pretty sure that the trainers would have done that when it happened, and they would have been like, it seems like the Browns fear that the Kareem Hunt tore his Achilles.
Yeah, let's just hope it's all good because it's scary.
Yeah, Achilles tear. We never want to see that.
Oof, easily, in my opinion. Like, dude, Lamar over Sutton, and then Kupp and Adams over. Kupp and Adams for Aaron Jones probably a wash. I would take Adams.
I would take Adams easily over Kupp, but still Kupp over Aaron Jones.
More so Kupp versus Aaron Jones, pretty close, but I would still rather Kupp.
Yeah.
Just do a random live video and chat. I actually have one tomorrow morning, or tomorrow noon. Whatever. I don't fucking know.
That is a good idea, though. I could just go live at noon on Mondays or something, or even in the morning. Just like if you guys Gary V is, he just does like tea with Gary V at like 10 in the morning. I could just like do tea with Corey B or some shit.
B with Bushy Boy.
Yeah, tea with Bushy Boy at fucking 10 a.m. on Monday and just talk about whatever. Maybe
that's also another good idea.
Related on Mondays. Yeah, I could definitely do something like that. Again, if you guys have any like specific ideas or anything like that, just DM me on Twitter or on Discord if you're in the Discord, and I'll definitely, because I do want to do something on Mondays, because I actually do a lineup recap for Draft Sharks, their YouTube channel. So if you guys want to see that, you can go to their YouTube channel and check it out. But that's basically what I do on Mondays.
Bush, I've toasted you these past couple weeks, eh?
I know.
This week, so I guess I had Lamb against 2 separate people against you. I don't know how we made 2 separate Lamb bets, but I had Lamb over Evans, which that worked, and I had Lamb over Claypool, which worked. I also had Alex Collins over Lat Murray, which was actually like really close, but Collins did well.
I liked Latavius Murray this week, man. I had him in a DFS lineup.
And Emmanuel Sanders needs 19.5 or more to beat what I had with Sutton.
He had 19.5.
19.4.
Damn, eh? Yeah, I think Sanders can get there. I think he's definitely good. Game.
Should I stream 2 or Wentz week 7? I'll have to look more at matchups, to be honest. I'm not sure at this current point, but
yeah, I don't even know who they're playing, to be honest.
I don't know for Thursday. Yeah, I don't know either.
I think what I saw with Tua, him throwing the ball as much as he was, I think he's going to be a streamable quarterback going forward, though.
Yeah, that's a good idea to talk about on the live stream too.
That's actually not a bad idea. Waiver wire for the follow. So some guys to stash. I suppose that's probably something that Danny can cover on the waiver wire show already, though, is like, for example, we have Rashad Penny being activated off IR, or being talked about that he's going to get activated off IR. I think if he's on your waiver wire right now, maybe you get ahead of schedule on him. Same goes for JaMychal Hasty, who's coming back from IR as well soon. Those are 2 guys that I could think of off the top of my head that you could stash for free now that might be valuable later.
Yeah. Here, let me just have the game on my other monitor and let's get to these last 2 questions. Monday idea, matchups to exploit in the coming week. Yeah, that's
actually a really good idea, because it's like a first look, especially because that's really valuable for me for DFS, because I write articles for DFS. So looking at matchups to exploit might actually be a good one. It's like a first look at the first slate or whatever. That's not a bad idea, actually. I don't mind that.
Diggs just had a catch, but there's a flag. I think it was offside though, so it should count. Up 29, my opponent has Henry. That'll be very, very close. But I think Henry. I think you should be fine. The Bills should be able to limit him.
Yep.
Someone dropped Madison. Do I scoop him up as a stash? I mean, yeah, if you have a bench spot for him, I don't mind. We've already seen Dalvin Cook been dealing with
Any high
injuries.
value handcuff, if you have a bench spot for him, I'm definitely okay holding them.
Yep. And the bets push at Claypool user. Just saw it on Twitter. So high on CD, I actually would not unless you're getting like locked and loaded like wide receiver 1 type of value. Like I have CD Lamb as like a fringe top 15 type wide receiver rest of the year. So
yeah,
like
I
unless I'm getting,
I have him like 18 or so, but he's still a guy that like depending on what
I
you
would
can
need a
get
clear
for him,
upgrade.
obviously, especially if you could sell him for like a top 12 wide receiver, like somebody like DJ Moore or something like that, then I'd probably sell Lamb. But if you can't get anything better than that, obviously, then I'd probably just stick with thing. I'm just watching Singletary catch balls and not make anybody miss.
I saw that too. Hey, John, fellas watching the game. You mean Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah. Speaking of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, wasn't it hilarious that Darrell Williams got the CEH workload that everybody's dreamed of for years?
Dude, I saw a stat. Darrell Williams had more points yesterday than CEH has
ever had in his entire career. Yeah. It's fun. It's so funny to me that they trust Darrell Williams with the third down work and the routes and stuff like that, but they don't trust CEH with it. I told you guys it was a CEH problem.
Yep. I don't know if I agree. I think he's a locked and loaded like top 15-ish type quarterback in the league, but I do agree to a point that he
was considered like a top 10 quarterback pretty convincingly for a while. Yeah, maybe he's not quite that good. Maybe it was a little bit more Arthur Smith than we were willing to give credit to.
For sure. Like, again, like at this point going into the year, he's someone that I'd say I would probably comfortably take over like Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield. But now I would personally rather have Cousins over a Tannehill, and he's well within like that tier of they're not like my thing. There's like a matrix of quarterbacks. There's about like 8 or 9 quarterbacks where like if you have one of them, you have a chance to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. Yeah. After that, it's like I would move off of any of them. You know what I mean? Like I like Tannehill. I think he's a really solid quarterback, but do I think that the Titans are set at quarterback long term? No. Do I think the Vikings are set at quarterback long term? No. Do I think
I think Tannehill is significantly better than Cousins personally.
I don't know about that, man. Cousins, like the thing with Cousins is he's super efficient. He just kind of boils in some spots.
Yeah,
which is tough. But
yeah,
you guys watching the game? I have.
Yeah, I mean, well, once we come off the stream and stop talking and out of our asses for a while, then we will be watching the game. I'm watching it on the side of my screen right now.
Yeah, I would do that to upgrade to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would as well.
Hunt out 4 to 6 weeks with a calf strain. I think it's going to be closer to 6.
Again, yeah, I think it's going to be closer to 6, and it seems like a setback type injury as well. And he's out 4 to 6 weeks. He might only be designated to return from IR like 6 weeks from now, and then he might not even be back until like the playoffs if the Browns even make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the Browns are going to make the playoffs. Like the AFC is so fucking
They might be
weird.
like the 7 seed though. Like I don't see them being like much better than that.
All right, like I think that they basically locked in the 6 seed. I mean, if you want to debate Bengals versus Browns for the 6-7, so be it. But I can't see the Colts passing them. Texans, Jaguars, no. As good as the Broncos and Raiders have been playing, like I just don't see a scenario where either of them finish ahead of the Browns. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, I think the Browns are a better team than both those teams.
And again, obviously, I do.
Maybe if the Raiders can recapture the magic, like the Raiders are the one team that could do it. I don't think the Broncos can, but I think Derek Carr's a good enough quarterback that they could get there if their defense plays a little bit better than like similar to what they were playing early in the season.
Because assuming you basically lock in the 5 seed for either the Chargers or the Chiefs. Like, I think that's pretty much a given. Like, one of those teams is going to be the 5 seed. One of them is going to be the first wild card. And whoever's the 5 seed, I think, is going to make it to the second round because they're going to be playing the Titans.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just fun looking ahead. Again, you don't want to do it too much because as a Cowboys fan, I might get too optimistic seeing the schedule and seeing potential seeding. But it is a fun exercise to do when you're like.
Are we in Are we the 2 seed right now, as of right now? The Cardinals?
I mean,
the Rams 5-1 too.
Yeah, the Rams are 5-1,
and they beat us, so they'd be the 2 seed.
But they beat you, but you beat us. But we have it goes by common record, I believe, or it goes by conference record.
Hey, Mike, I think it actually goes by. Doesn't it go by division record first?
Like
if you sweep your division, don't you go to the top of the list, or no? Is that not how it works?
It goes by common record.
Oh, common record. Okay.
I believe so. But right now, like if the season were to end today, it says that the Cardinals are first. Bucks second, Packers third, Cowboys fourth, Rams fifth, Saints sixth. Did I read that right? Wait.
Anyway, Steven actually says that
Saints 6,
after the
Vikings 7.
MRI, they did say 4 to 6 weeks after the MRI had already taken place. So I again, like, I don't think it's torn Achilles. I doubt it's torn Achilles, but I appreciate that, Ben. But we're gonna head off of here. We're gonna watch the game. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and like I said, hopefully I win $1 million.
Yep. Peace out, y'all.